Hey everybody, it's MW Order for Life here with Tokyo Ghoul Episode 3 review. It starts out with some guy cracking his knuckles, telling this guy in a lab coat that, we don't see the guy in lab coat's face or the guy's face. And he's telling him that his tool broke and he needs a new tool or that he lost it or whatever he tells him. And we see a woman and a little girl hiding behind what looks like a curtain of some sort, or like what you would see in like a medical room, whatever. And so the guy leaves. That's cracking his knuckles. This guy, and the woman comes out of the out of hiding, and she says, "Dear Anata," which probably means either her husband or her lover, and the little girl is probably the daughter, right? Um, Now, the way this guy's cracking the knuckles and looking all menacing, I think this is the same guy that's from the first episode, the one who fought with, you know, the crazy tendril girl, Rise, the one who fought with Rise, and she just left him there on top of the building and just took his tool. I said like it was a wrench or something, but it seems like it wasn't more than a wrench, some kind of a ghoul tool. And I'm pretty sure this is that same guy. So now we see Ken and the manager of Antiku having coffee, showing Ken how to make coffee, and Ken is not making it too well. His coffee tastes a lot different, and then the topic becomes like why do you, Ken asks the manager why are humans here, like why do you let humans in the shop when this place is like the epicenter of where the ghouls are in the 20th ward. And the manager tells him, that humans are like textbooks, and they need to learn. Ghouls need to learn like from humans, their behaviors, how they act, etc., so that they can emulate them. But he also says that he likes humans. He has no problem with them. So there you go. And Ken walks downstairs. He sees Toka and Hide talking. Hide tells us that tells Ken that he's thankful that Nishio, their teacher that attacked him, and he's not injured. He's only got a couple of scratches, and everybody's only got a couple of bandages because they were hit by a car. So Hide thinks that they were just blindsided by some kind of vehicle, and he's thanking his lucky stars that everybody's okay. Um, I guess because Nishio's kick must have been so fast and sudden that Hide couldn't even comprehend it. Who did it or what even happened. So Toka tells Ken when Hide leaves that if Hide ever finds out about what really happened, she'll kill him. She doesn't want anyone knowing about the ghouls. So then we see that woman and that little girl from that beginning of the episode, they walk into Antiku, and we find out the woman's name is Ryoko, and the little girl's name is Hinami, and Hinami is her daughter. And Ryoko and Hinami are there because they need help, food. They don't know how to hunt, so Antiku provides them food, uh, and we're introduced to them, and then the master asks Ken to go help get food for Antiku, and Ken is really worried because Ken is like, I don't want to kill anybody. And he's like, just trust me, like you won't be killing anybody. Just go with And Toko would usually do it, but she can't because she's got school or a test or something that she's studying for. So it's got to be Ken and the other guy that normally does it. And this guy that normally does it, I forget his name, but he's a pretty strong looking guy. Um, they're riding in the car and they go to this cliff, and at the cliff you see like human bodies or whatever, and we find out that this place is where humans commit suicide all the time, and so this way of gathering food is the viable alternative to killing people. They can take people that have given up their lives, take their bodies, and you know chop them up, I guess, and whatever, and distribute them to ghouls that don't know how to hunt. like Ryoko and her daughter, Hinami. So they get back, and Hinami is in the room eating her food, and Ken brings her something, and he sees her eating it. Now this contrast of Hinami is really, really impressive in this scene, because when we first see her in the room, she's got the red monster eyes with the black on all sides, and the veins bulging and whatever, and she's eating flesh and blood, and on a fork, whatever, but looking like a real monster, like like look really scary. And Ken freaks out. Oh, he falls on his back, and backs away and apologizes. And the manager chastises him or whatever and says, that's rude. You can't do that. I don't know if it was the manager or someone chastises him and says, like, don't do that. It's rude. You got to apologize to her, and maybe one of the other coworkers or something. Anyway, so he goes back in there. He offers her an apology. I believe he gives her a drink, and which I guess is probably coffee. And she says that he smells different. He smells weird or whatever. And he says that he is weird. He's half human, half ghoul. And she pretty much, she thinks that's like I'm sorry. She didn't mean to offend or whatever. And Hinami, we see her differently now. Now this is the contrast. Before, where she looked like a monster, now she looks like this sweet little girl with normal eyes, and she's writing and she's drawing a colorful picture or whatever. Totally the exact opposite of what we saw before. So it's a really good perspective of, like, how ghouls only become monstrous when they have to eat, as opposed to when they're not in that eating frenzy, they're just regular people. And so I don't know if this is, I think I might have skipped this part, but there was a part with the police, the detectives or whatever. We find out that the young one's name is Amin Kotaro, and his partner is Mato. We find that out a little later though. And they're in a meeting with, like, the whole CCG organization, whatever it is, all the organization dedicated to exterminating the ghouls. And we find out that indeed Amin says that that weapon, that tool was that I thought was a wrench, that is some kind of a ghoul tool, and it's made of a steel known as Quinque steel. And this steel is obviously makes the weapon very special, and it's some kind of a ghoul tool. That's all we know. And in the meeting, they also talk about how the 11th Ward of ghouls is, like, starting to become a war zone. It looks like they're declaring war on the organization, and they're discussing, like, how to go about retaliating. And then as Amin and his partner Madhu are walking out of the meeting, we see that they now have authorization to go to the 20th district and search, because of that special ghoul tool. Now, like, the 20th district is going to get some attention. And so they're mentioning right there that Jason, a ghoul named Jason, a ghoul known as the Binge Eater, which we know was Risei, and a ghoul known as Gourmet. Those 3 ghouls that they have their eyes on in the 20th Ward as they're walking. So now we see Ken and the Master, and the Master's trying to teach him how to eat food, showing him that, like, if you just take one bite and swallow the whole thing, and then take little bites after you swallow it to make it look like you're chewing it, that's good enough to fool people. And just make sure that you regurgitate the food before it digests in the stomach, because digesting could be bad, really bad for a ghoul. But if you just puke it up before it gets dissolved and digested, you'll be fine. And yeah, so that detective part was definitely earlier than I should have said it, before, but that happened, like, pretty much before the whole Hinami thing. And that's pretty much it. Then we see that you know, Ken goes with Toko to get a mask, and the reason he needs to get a mask from this guy Uta is because the investigators are being sent to the 20th ward now, and they're called doves. That's what they're like, you know, that's what they're called in that organization, doves that get sent to, you know, other districts and wards, whatever. And he needs a mask because, you know, he can be identified. So the mask will help keep his identity a secret. And so they're going to go get a mask for him. The guy Uda takes his face measurements and all things like that, asks him a bunch of questions. And then we see the detectives again, Amin and Mato, that they're killing random ghouls looking for information. And then at the very end, you know, Hinami and Ken have made a good friendship or whatever, you know. Oh, because he was helping her also to learn words because she don't go to school. That's another thing, you know. She doesn't go to school like a normal kid, so she's got to try to learn words for herself. So he was helping her, like after he apologized to her about the whole, you know, being afraid of her. He saw that she liked, you know, a certain book or whatever, so he was helping her decipher words from the book. And he's sort of like a big brother to her right now. He's helping her learn words and you know, just showing her kindness and affection, which she's not used to getting because she's only with her mother, and she's used to being, you know, living in fear of the investigators and all things like that, and other ghouls, you know, that would probably kill her. So, and then as the episode ends, we see a brand new guy walk inside of the Antico restaurant. Seems to be in some kind of a suit, stylish kind of clothes. And that's it. That's how the episode ends. Really liked the episode, if only because we get more info on what the, you know, detectives are going to do, and we see their force, what they've got while they're killing ghouls. They're doing it with some kind of weapon inside this briefcase. The detective Motto, he just has this like weapon briefcase, and you know, you don't see anything. We just see like slashes and the ghouls getting slaughtered. So that's interesting. Um, the plot point with the ghoul tool, I'll tell you right now, it is filler, but we'll see where that goes. Um, you know, because that whole Rize fight with the guy with the ghoul tool and everything, that was all filler, and this whole thing with, oh, we found this tool, so now we have permission to go to the 20th ward, that's all filler. So we'll see how that goes, what they're planning on doing with that. But everything than that, like, is pretty much good to go. You know, it's going good. And the other thing is, I like you know, how we're seeing Ken, you know, learn more about humans and ghouls. He's learning that, you know, ghouls need to adapt to be human, you know, in appearance, and he's learning that, you know, not all ghouls are evil. That, you know, even though they look scary, they're just like, you know, regular people. So it's, again, it's a nice way to see like how ghouls and humans interact with each other or whatever. And that's the episode review. A little long this week. There was a lot to cover, and I think it was important to go over this much. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you like this channel and you want to see more. And as always, let me know if there's anything you want me to cover, anime or manga review, in the comments below. Thanks. Bye.